Acknowledge me, the one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. We are approaching, as of this recording, 3,000 subscribers here on the YouTube channel, and when there is 3K subscribers, there will be a prize giveaway. That prize won't be revealed until we hit 3K. So, well, I know there's plenty of weeks where I say Scoops Goes Bang is going to be the biggest ever Scoops Goes Bang of all time. Well, last week or the week before, it was the longest Scoops Goes Bang rant in time length. This may eclipse that, as I have about 5 or 6 things to rant on about. It includes Paul Curtis, Alix Tauru, the umpiring. I've even lost track of what they all are. There is so many. The West Coast Eagles and Andrew McQualter's non-selection and positioning of players in the side. Jason Horne Francis disrespecting his coach Ken Hinkey and captain Connor Rozee and his teammate Zach Butters. The Port fans in general. Mitch Hinge's ridiculous suspension. There's so many things. So many things I will be bringing up on the channel today. Obviously going to go through my heavily debated team of the week, my Supercoach score. I'm pretty happy, then saw what everyone else got, so I'm not so sure. I'll review the rounds that's gone and upcoming and everything else in between. First off, I'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. If you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees or any state league players, and you would like to see them on the podcast in a Goal King Challenge and or interview, please do send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. Also, if you'd like to co-host the Scoops AFLW show, the Scoops VFW Game Changers VFW show, or this show, Kick It to Scoops, you want to be a co-host with me permanently, randomly, a week here and there, send me a message on Instagram, AFL Info Live, and we'll see if we can work things out there. Now, okay, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Right, what are we going to go bang on about today? Well, where the hell do I begin? Now, basically, every player that got suspended in the AFL and VFL that are St Kilda related, AFL affiliated, which is a St Kilda player in this case, Alix Tauru. If you're Alix Tauru, Mitch Hinge, or Paul Curtis, and Adam Cerra, that's another name I've got to mention, Adam Cerra, you are going to be a very pissed off individual and pissed off club of those 4 players. Adelaide, St Kilda, North Melbourne, and Carlton all have a right to be fuming. All clubs will appeal these ridiculous bullshit suspensions. And I'm going to tell you why all 4 of them should not be suspended. I'll be also ripping into the Port Adelaide fans and Jason Horne Francis. I'll also be ripping into the AFL for their match-fixing umpiring throughout the whole season and why the game is dead and buried and people are not watching it anymore for the umpiring alone. So, where the hell am I going to begin? Well, I'm going to talk about Andrew McQualter's non-selections as well with players and why certain players are playing in certain positions they shouldn't be in or have never played before and never came through the system in playing in that position. So, and they don't make sense because they haven't even done well in those positions. But I don't know where you want me to start. I mean, I've got so much. I hope I don't forget any of this. So I wanted to kind of mention them all at least once. Let's start off with the suspension, shall we? Paul Curtis got a 3-week suspension for what exactly? For what? For what did he get suspended for? For a rundown tackle, and he should have got a free for holding the ball. Number 1, he didn't get that. Number 2, he got suspended for 3 freaking weeks. Now, people always say that I only say that when it happens to St Kilda, it's bullshit. Well, you're wrong and talking bullshit. I will call out any bullshit suspension that is given, any ridiculous umpiring in any particular game. And this Paul Curtis one is an absolute disgrace. The game is dead weeks, months, years ago. But finally, the people have figured out that the AFL are ridiculous. Finally. If you know that wrestling reference, you know I'm the final boss. I'm the tribal chief. The AFL are a joke. Andrew Dillon, Laura Kane, and everyone in the AFL need to have a hard good look at themselves. And Michael Christian, who does the Tribunal, not the Tribunal, the MRO, same thing. The Tribunal, better do those 4 players right and undo the bullshit that Michael Christian and the VFL Tribunal Committee that gave Alix Tauru the most ridiculous suspension of the year. So back to Paul Curtis for just a second here. What was Paul Curtis meant to do? It was a run from behind tackle on Josh Sinn. Unfortunately, Josh Sinn got concussed. Unfortunately, for Josh Sinn, that's not great, and we don't want that to happen to anyone. But last time I checked, Paul Curtis did nothing wrong. A run from behind tackle, he took him to the ground very good, actually, and just unfortunately that Sinn got concussed from it. Number one, that's not even in the back. That should have been a free to Paul Curtis for holding the ball, number one. But that's a whole nother argument. What was he meant to do? Okay? Now, I might mention this and reference this a few more times. I'm going to say it now just in case I forget. The AFL, I get they want to be safe with the head and everything, and I'm fine for that. But there has to be a line drawn where, how's that worth 3 weeks? Even if he was concussed, that's not worth 3 weeks. Even if he, it's just bullshit. The AFL have got to stop suspending someone off the outcome and suspend them off the action. For example, if Josh Sinn didn't get concussed, we wouldn't even be talking about this. It'd be nothing. It wouldn't even have been mentioned. But because he got concussed, the AFL thought, well, he's concussed, so he's copping 3 weeks. Bullshit. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Stop suspending players off the outcome and do it off the action. If you think that action is worth 3 weeks, well, then you're a joke. That is the perfect definition of a rundown tackle. And you've punished the guy doing the right thing. Josh Sinn, unfortunately, was concussed. We don't want that to happen. But we don't want players like Paul Curtis, in this example, getting suspended for 3 freaking weeks for a perfect rundown tackle. Ridiculous. Now, as of this recording, none of these tribunal hearings have happened. If I find out that any of these players' suspension lengths have stayed, oh, mate, I'll be ranting about them again until the AFL sink in their brain that it's biased, it's bullshit, they are ruining the game. People are boycotting games. People have had enough. People aren't even watching the shit. And I understand why now, why people are sick of watching it. The AFL are a joke, and all they care about is their pockets. They don't care about anything else. If you are trying to defend the AFL's decision on any of these suspensions I'm about to bring up, then you are the problem with the game right now. The AFL and the people that for some reason defend them are what's wrong with the game today. Paul Curtis did nothing wrong. I will be on Paul Curtis's side here, and any other player that does something like that gets suspended for that long. That is a joke. Now, Alix Tauru, the Flying Viking, has been back from his long-term back injury that St Kilda drafted in the top 10 this year. Played the last 3 weeks in the VFL, had a good game on the weekend, and I feel like this was the week the Flying Viking was going to be revealed at Marvel Stadium against the Dockers. Well, that potentially cannot happen, as now this is a VFL suspension. Alix Tauru collided with another Brisbane player. They were both running front on for the ball. The ball was in between them all. They ran for the ball together and they collided face on. No elbows, no fists, no nothing. They collided. It was not shoulder on head or anything like that. No elbow on head, nothing. And Tauru got 4 weeks for contesting the fucking ball. Like, what for? I'm sorry I swore then, but that's not the point. This is ridiculous. There's no one with a brain that can tell me that's worth 4 weeks. Where there's been players this year that have punched players, done swinging arms, like Patrick Voss. Houston, albeit that wasn't his fault either, got 2 weeks. And that was worse than Tauru's one, but that wasn't that bad to begin with. But if you want to compare the pair, that one was way worse than Tauru's, and he got 4. I don't give a shit that that's a VFL suspension, because the AFL would have done the same thing, and they're all run by the same group of people. So, how was that 4 weeks? Don't give me the same bullshit you gave for Curtis and tell me, well, the Brisbane player, I think his last name was McCarthy. It's not Lincoln McCarthy. It's another McCarthy that's playing for Brisbane's VFL. I think it might be his brother, actually, who was from Geelong originally. That's unfortunate for McCarthy, the Brisbane player, the VFL player that got concussed. But there was no bump. There was no elbow to the face. There was no punch to the face. There was no swinging arm. There was no elbow to the face. There was no bump to the face. They collided. One played on and one was supposedly concussed. Again, you're suspending the someone off the outcome and not the bloody action. Anyone with a brain knows that's 2 guys contesting, putting their bodies on the line to win the footy. You're punishing someone for playing the game in the right way. He didn't elbow him. He didn't punch him. He didn't swing arm at him. He didn't do anything bad. This is bullshit, rigged, crap, rubbish, disgraceful. They are contesting that tonight. No, what's today? Monday? No, Tuesday. They are contesting this one tonight also at the VFL Tribunal. So as of this recording, the outcome for Tauru has not been revealed. Now, when I post this, it probably will be out by then. So I'm recording this about 5 o'clock Victorian time. So I want you to listen here. The VFL is different to the AFL. There's no $10,000 fine if you contest it and lose. This is classed as a VFL suspension. And this would mean, because Sandringham, St Kilda's VFL affiliate, have the bye this week. So he would, had they not appealed it, he would have missed 5 weeks because the bye in the VFL doesn't count as a week. He would have missed 5 weeks. Now, under the rules, if you contest a ban, you could have a week added on, which was the old AFL rule, I think. So Tauru, if unsuccessful, will end up copying a 5-week or 5-game suspension, but a 6 freaking week suspension for what? 2 guys going at the ball face on, one isn't concussed and one is. So what would happen if they were both concussed? You're going to suspend them both for 4 weeks? Bullshit, you would. Bullshit. Now, had either of them been concussed, we wouldn't be talking about this either. The AFL are a joke. I'm sick of this shit. I say it every week. I'm sick of the shit umpiring. I'm pissed off with the AFL. I'm pissed off with the Tribunal. The umpiring is bullshit too, but this is laughable. So we're potentially, if unsuccessful at the Tribunal, suspending someone for a collision injury for 6 weeks, yet players have been suspended for off-field incidents for 4 weeks. Houston gets 2 weeks. Patrick Voss gets 3 weeks. And you're telling me that Tauru's is worse than all of that? Bullshit. Get stuffed, AFL and the VFL Tribunal, or the VFL person who gave the sanction. They should be out of a job. because that's bullshit. Don't give me it's a Saints player, because 99.99% of comments on the AFL's post on Instagram and Facebook of the Tauru one and the Paul Curtis one were saying the game is dead. This is bullshit. What's he suspended for? Everything like that in between. A lot of expletives used as well. People said they're going to go watch other sports that aren't weak like the AFL. And I don't blame them. This is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And this needs to be justified the right way. This better be 0 weeks. Otherwise, there's going to be more and more rants, not just from me, but from a lot of people about this shit. VFL, do the right thing. You stuffed up your original sanction. The Tribunal better bloody fix it. If they extend it, oh boy, you're not going to hear the end of it. And the same for the Paul Curtis one. Because again, as of this recording, it's not officially released while I'm recording this. Now, Mitch Hinge and Andy Brayshaw and Adam Cerra and Jack Bowes. Let's go to Adam Cerra. So they're contesting it as well, and so well they should. He and Jack Bowes, you know, when they do this body on body, they try and push and shove each other to try and get off their man and get to the ball up and get the ball, right? In the throw up. They're trying to push each other off, go side by side, you know, go like this and try and push each other off. Right? Think about it, okay? They're pushing each other off. And the hand slips and gets Bowes around the chin. That's not even a free kick. Okay? That's not even a free kick. By the way, the Tauru one wasn't even paid a free kick to the Brisbane player. Think that. So the umpire doesn't even give it a free, but he gets suspended for 4 weeks. And there's been other players that got suspended this year from collision incidents and haven't even been penalised in the moment for a free kick. And yet they're getting penalised by suspension. Think of that as well. Sink that in as well. What bullshit that is. So Adam Cerra has copped a week for what? Tell me what? Because the AFL protect Geelong? Or because the AFL is stupid? It's one of them. It's one of them. What did Adam Cerra do wrong? Nothing. You can't tell me what he did wrong. At worst, it's a free kick to Bowes. At worst, it's not a free to Bowes, in my opinion. But at worst, a free to Bowes. I would say that's a soft free if they gave it. But whatever. But suspending him for what? Soon you won't be able to tackle. Even if you're going to be allowed to still tackle, I feel like soon there's going to be players that don't want to tackle anybody. They're just going to let them run and kick goals because they're worried they're going to miss 4 weeks if they tackle someone to the ground or even bear hug them. They're worried they're going to get suspended. Because now you're getting suspended for pushing someone's body or shoulder and the hand slips to the chin. It wasn't a punch. It wasn't a swing arm. There was a tap on the chin. Wasn't a slap. Wasn't an elbow. Nothing. And Adam Cerra got a week for that. Oh, get stuffed. Now, that one's been appealed Wednesday morning along with the next player, Mitch Hinge. He and Andy Brayshaw. That was pathetic as well. How that was worth a suspension as well is just ridiculous. You know, it's just bullshit. It really is. So, watch the Mitch Hinge one back. Now, the other three, I'm not even going to bother telling you to watch a clip because they're not worth suspensions. Now, this one, you can see he gets him on the chin as well. It's like pushing him again. A little bit more aggressive than Adam Cerra, but it's stupid, it's clumsy, it's a free kick, and maybe worth a fine, but that's not worth a week. That's bullshit. Now, that's not the worst one of the lot, but if you think about it, if these 3 other incidents didn't happen, we were talking about what a joke this one is. So I don't want to undersell it. This one is also bullshit. How that's worth a week is ridiculous. At worst, that's worth a fine. Not even that. Maybe a free kick at best to Andy Brayshaw and Freo. That's it. Again, he wasn't concussed. Jack Bowes wasn't concussed. So there he throws your bloody outcome crap you seem to do it for. Like, you don't even make sense. Now you're suspending players for not getting concussed and ones that do get concussed. Make up your mind. You're all over the place. The only thing the AFL are good at is rigging things. They are not consistently good. They are consistently shit. It's laughable. They really, really are laughable And anyone defending any of those suspensions, you are what's wrong with the game. If you defend any of those suspension lengths that are given, you are what's wrong with the game, just like the AFL are what's wrong with the game. The people in charge are the problem, and people didn't want Gill. I've always been a fan of Gill and McLaughlin. Bring back Gill and McLaughlin, get rid of Andrew Dillon and everyone in a role that is impacting all this. Get rid of them all. Bring back Gill. Should be a real hashtag. Bring back Gill. He saved the game during the AFL's darkest times and in the world's darkest times during COVID. Gill saved the competition. And people shit on him. He saved the comp. Andrew Dillon and co are ruining the game. Gill helped survive it and kept it going through the tough times. And Andrew Dillon and co are killing the game if they haven't already. They've ruined the game. The game has been shot. They're dead. Gill survived them. So we shall see what happens here. So now let's keep this heated conversation going. Jason Horne Francis. Now, I think this guy is overrated. You know, people want to shit on Jack McRae like Kane Corns does. By the way, Kane Corns and Horne Francis are tight, says Kane. Horne Francis doesn't say that. But think about this, okay? All Kane does is defend Jason Horne Francis. Even when he does shit, does something wrong. You know, Kane says he loves Ken Hinkey, but I don't think he loves Ken more than Jason because, I mean, everything he says about Jason is laughable. And, you know, anyone that is condoning what Horne Francis did to Ken Hinkey, Butters and Rozee is, again, what's wrong with the game. How can you justify what Horne Francis did to his coach, captain, and experienced and best midfielder in Butters? How can you say what he did was fine? He always has temper tantrums, just like Harley Reid continues to have, and he is also a problem at West Coast with that stuff. He was being spoken to by his captain, mainly Ken, the coach. He looked like he refused to listen, cried, like he did at North, and walked away. Connor Rozee pulled him back, basically saying, I don't know, word for word what he said, basically, mate, shut up, don't be an asshole, listen. So he stayed there again for a few seconds, and Rozee looked pissed, and he had damn right to be pissed. Ken's still speaking, still talking about whatever he's talking about, and then Horne Francis walks away, and then you can see Rozee look at Ken, shaking his head like this, going, and he looked pissed, and so he should. Now, anyone condoning what Horne Francis did, you're an idiot, seriously. Simple as that, because that was pathetic. And Matthew Lloyd says some stupid takes, but I will agree with him on this one. What Horne Francis did in that moment, I don't give a shit how he played. And by the way, he had like 8 turnovers and that 63% efficiency. That's shit. So that is a droppable offence, said Matthew Lloyd, and I agree with him. Now, the player, does he deserve to be dropped from his form? Well, his form's been bang average if you're being real. He's a handball merchant and turns it over a lot and goes to like 60 to 70% efficiency. But that's not what I'm going to argue about his form, even though his form is average for what people say he is good, they say. Well, he's not been good, especially if you look at the start of the season. But is the incident alone worth being dropped for? Absolutely. I guarantee you, if that was a fringe player at Port or any other club, so let's say it was Christian Moraes, a young player. Obviously, Christian wouldn't do that, but if it was him, say, would he be dropped and punished for that? Oh, you bet your ass he would be punished and dropped for that. Absolutely, he would be dropped. We wouldn't be having this discussion because he would have been dropped. He would have probably been subbed out, let alone dropped for the next week. He would have been subbed out from that moment. But because it's Horne Francis, he gets protected. And then they try and defend him, Port, by saying, you know, it's a heat of the moment thing, blah, blah, blah. He does this all the time. This time it was even worse because it wasn't against an opposition player. It was against his captain and coach, and he walked off on Ken twice. So don't tell me, oh, Ken was finished. So what was Rozee pissed off after the second attempt as well when he left? And he was looking at Ken, shaking his head and had a furious look on his face. Is that the face of someone that was happy with that? No. So don't give me some bullshit that he was happy with that. Rozee or Hinkey. Bullshit. Don't lie. Horne Francis deserves to be dropped for that action alone. They won't do it, but they should make a statement and say, you've got to grow up. I don't care that you're 19, 20, whatever he is. You've got to grow up. Same with Harley Reid. He needs to grow up. And, you know, that's why players do it to you, Jason, because they know you're going to bite. You're doing it now at your coach. I know exactly what's going to happen this week for the Port game against the Bulldogs. The Bulldog players like Liberatore, who loves pissing people off regardless, he's going to go to Horne Francis and he's going to piss the shit out of him, and he's going to give away about 7 frees because he can't control himself. And Port should be smart and thinking and knowing that this will be coming from the Bulldogs. If from the Bulldogs, I would be pissing him off too, because you know he's going to react. So he's going to be smart, which he hasn't been this year, and that's not react to it and not react like that, but he will. Now, that's that. To Horne Francis, lift your game. It's pathetic. And to the AFL Tribunal and the VFL Tribunal, lift your game. Now, the Port Adelaide fans. Now, Geelong had the worst fan base. It's clearly Geelong. But Port Adelaide and West Coast fans, Port Adelaide and Freo fans are also terrible. But Port Adelaide is the one I'm going to be talking about here. Now, watch that game alone against North Melbourne, where they were great in the first quarter, then they were shit. All they did was bitch and complain and moan and complain about the umpiring. What's the freaky count in their side? No. Does it say it has to be even? Maybe they shouldn't be so clumsy and dumping plays after they kick it, or maybe they should learn how to handle the ball while being tackled, or not get plays around the head. Then maybe the freaky count wouldn't have been that high. But regardless, whether it was a ball up, an out of bounds, a spoil, whatever from North or whatever, a goal from North, a behind from North, the Port fans, the siren went at each break, boo, boo. Crybabies. Even when they got a free, they would Bronx cheer, or they would boo that still, like, never so happy, are ya? You're all angry and miserable. It's like there's 42,000 Jason Horne Francis people in the freaking crowd. Like, you know, it's like they're all angry. You know what you should be angry about? That pathetic performance after quarter time. Conceding like 5 or 7 goals to North Melbourne, the non-competitive North Melbourne, who finally turned up, which I'll mention that later. But Port fans, how about you worried about playing 4 quarters of football and not 1 quarter? And you're lucky North didn't execute, because you would have lost that and you would have been the laughing stock of the competition. If you lost to the non-competitive North after leading by 30 points at quarter time, basically, oh, gee, how bad that would have looked. And I wouldn't have been blaming Ken Hinkey. I would have been blaming those players. North Melbourne must have changed players from another club after quarter time. They looked way better than Port. And they're very lucky, Port, that North can't kick straight. Lucky, Zerha in the last quarter, miss gettable goals. They lose by whatever they lose by, 7 points, I think it was off the top of my head. And those 2 goals go in, they lose, Port. Simple as that. Port fans, you are hypocritical. You bitch about the umpiring, yet you've been protected plenty of times this year, but still boo it anyway. Even if you're winning the free kick count, you're still booing. How about you worrying about your bloody team and stop worrying about booing every bloody ball up or throw in or whatever when it's got nothing to do with umpiring? Crybabies. As Liv Morgan would say, if you don't like it, you can go cry about it, which clearly they do. Now, I'm not done with rants, by the way. I've still got 3 more. In fact, make that 2 more, sorry. The umpiring this round is continuing to be shit. No surprise. The umpiring in the Saints game, though, I mean, I don't give a shit what people are going to say here, because it's true. Brisbane got 11 free kicks for shots at goal. 6 of them they got goals from those 11 free kicks at goal. 6. Lachie Neale was laughing 2 of his 3 goals he got from free kicks or non-free kick decisions that should have gone to St Kilda that Brisbane didn't get against them. He was laughing because he knows how bullshit it was that he got away with 2 cheap goals. There's even a photo of him laughing and waving his arms out, smiling, because he knows he got away with it. Will Ashcroft threw the freaking ball. There was multiple decisions that Brisbane got protected in this game. Now, people say, oh, you lost by 48 points or whatever. Who gives a shit? I didn't say we would have won had they not been paid. It would have definitely helped our cause, but I didn't say we lost because of it solely. It impacted it because in the third quarter, we get the first 3 goals of the quarter, brought it back to 16, 17 points, and then that's when they got 3 cheap free kicks goals in a row. Like, I think Hipwood got one that was bullshit as well. Some of it's in my matchday vlog, and sometimes I'll talk about it. I haven't posted that yet as of this recording, but that will be out soon, and you'll see some of that. It's just bullshit of the highest order. It just truly, truly is the definition of match fixing at its finest. Brisbane know they got a waiver because they were laughing every time they got a free or non-free that St Kilda didn't get that favoured them. It is complete and utter disgrace, and even people online were saying the umpires were protecting Brisbane in that game. And there are people that won't defend St Kilda that were saying that. So make that sink in. So it's not just me. Plenty of non-St Kilda fans said the same damn thing. So it's bullshit. The umpiring standard is a joke. It always has been a joke. And the AFL players get dropped for shit performances. The shit umpires should be dropped for their shit performances. But in saying that, there would be left with no umpires because most of them are shit. Lift your game. It's pathetic. Now, the last thing I'm going to rant on about, I told you there was so much. And all this would be the headline act, but this one's not going unnoticed. And I want West Coast fans to comment down below. Andrew McQualter in his non-selections. Now, they've been more competitive than North Melbourne, but he's not helping their cause. Generally, it's on the players, but here I'll blame the coach and the selection panel. Andrew McQualter's non-selection of Tom Gross. 2 great games against the reigning premiers Brisbane, which was his debut game, and the game after that. There were around 20 disposals both games. Then he gets demoted to the sub, plays like 5 minutes, then gets dropped. Now, I understand they want to say that he's going to play a full game, but they play him in the waffle. He should be playing a full game of AFL. Why did you demote him after 2 fantastic performances? Clay Hall, very similar. 2 good games, dropped. Or 3 good games, dropped. Harry Edwards, they're light for key defenders. They got McGovern, and then it's Harry Edwards, and that's about it. Brady Hoff plays as a 3rd tall defender, like the medium-sized defender. And then you're now playing Oscar Allen in the back line when he should be in the forward line with their young, inexperienced forward line, especially in the tall department. Like Jack Petrocelli, they want speed. Why is he not in? Bailey Williams is way better than Matt Flynn. Why is Matt Flynn in? He just got embarrassed by Lloyd Meek in that first half in particular. Why is Harley Reid been playing half back all year, and then this week you decide to put him a bit more in the midfield? Why is Brady Hoff playing in the midfield? A guy who was decent in the back line, playing in the midfield, taking the opportunity of minutes of Gross and Hall. And then also, Tim Kelly's out injured. So you think that's the perfect opportunity to bring Tom Gross back in. You're like, nah, stuff it. Let's go play Jack Hutchison in the midfield again this year, who's a forward. Like, the weird selection moves from the Eagles and Andrew McQualter and the weird positioning of players is bullshit. George Hewitt, he's having a great year, George Hewitt from the Blues. Elijah Hewitt, BOG type level performance in the second half against the Bombers in that close loss. And like 22 disposals and 2 goals. He changed the game for the Eagles in that game, and they could have won. And then this week, in the first half, mainly playing up forward. And then goes in the back line when the game's dead and buried, basically. Like, what the hell is McQualter doing? Is he wanting to lose games? Like, you've been better than North this year. Point blank range, obvious. But why is Oscar Allen in the back line? Why has Harley Reid been playing half back for the majority of the year? Why is Hoff in the midfield this week? I know he had 23 touches and did well, but he's now probably going to keep Tom Gross and Clay Hall out because McQualter's keeping Hoff in the midfield now after that game, you would think. Hewitt played half a game in the mid, half in the back line, half in the forward line in the first half, half in the midfield in the second half. Like, what the hell is McQualter doing? What is he thinking? Bailey Williams should be playing. Matt Flynn should not. Harley Reid should be playing midfield or forward, not in the back line. Ryan Marrick is probably the best and only good positional change that Andrew McQualter has made. The rest of these are mind-boggling, ridiculous, embarrassing. I mean, people will say he's tanking doing this because Harry Edwards is a good young key defender. Brady Hoff and McGovern, they should be your 3 tall defenders, not Sandy Brock, not whoever the hell else you're playing in that position, just those 3. Ryan Marrick off the halfback line with Liam Duggan looks better. Like, why did Noah Long get a game over Gross, Hall, Petrocelli, Edwards, or Williams? Is laughable. Why is Jack Hutchison playing in the midfield? I know he's had moments we've done okay, but you're keeping guys that will do better, like Tom Gross, out in particular, a young player in the midfield who did really well against the reigning premiers, the Brisbane Lions, might I add, and Harley Reid at the halfback line, another guy that needs to fix his temper tantrums. But you're embarrassing the shit out of yourselves. And it's all on you. To everyone I've just roasted for about 30 plus minutes and probably the longest rant ever, lift your game! Pathetic. Hope you guys and girls joined that very long and one of the most explosive ever editions of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Right. Now it is time to go through my Scoops AFL Round 7 AFL Team of the Week. This is going to be very debatable, I feel, for whatever reasons. Okay. Right. Now I'm getting it for you all on the screen right here. Right. Now, well, actually, no, I'm not going to put it on the screen right here, right now, because I'm not going to reveal it to you all with the picture. I'm going to read it out. So, from the back line, the pockets, Christian Salem and Jake Bowie. Full back, Josh Battle. Half back line, the flankers, Josh Dacos and Nasiah Wanganeen Malira. Centre half back, Nick Haynes. Wingers, Steele Sidebottom and Scott Pendlebury. Centreman, Lockie Neal. Half forward line, the flankers, Zach Bailey and James Harms. Centre half forward, Harry Mackay. Forward pockets, Jamie Elliott and Jack Gunston. Full forward, the King. One of Ben King. Ruck, Tristan Sherry. Rovers, Andy Brayshaw and George Hewitt. The interchange, Lockie Ash, Ned Long, Paul Curtis, Caleb Sarong and Bailey Humphrey. The emergencies, Nick Dacos, Jack Higgins, Lockie Whitfield and Lloyd Meek. Now, reasons for these selections. Okay, let me get that banner off for just a second. Well, Salem at 34 disposals and was very good off the halfback line. Bowie had about 28 and his run and carry was very important. Josh Battle had 29 disposals, had a great amount of marks as well and was a rock down in the back line for the Hawks. Josh Dacos had like 34 and he was close to best on ground. Haynes had like 12 intercept possessions and like 8 intercept marks, 20-something disposals. He was great. Side bottom, 34, like 14 clearances. I think he broke his own record, so he did terrific. Scott Pendlebury had over 30 and was very influential in their win on Anzac Day. Lockie Neal kicked 3 and 32, albeit 2 of those goals were gifted, but he was still good. Zach Bailey, 2 goals, 4 and 24, missed some from the goal square, so he could kick 3 or 4 easily. Harry Mackay was the difference against Geelong in that second half in particular. He deserves his spot. James Harms, what a good patch of form he's in. 4 goals and like 22 touches, deserved it. Jamie Elliott, best on ground on Anzac Day, 4 goals. Ben King kicked 5, albeit too late, but 5 goals is 5 goals. Jack Gunston, what a great form he's in. 4 goals, could have kicked 6 last week, could have kicked 6 this week, kicked 6 a week prior against Port. If he could kick straight Gunston the last few weeks, he would have kicked 6 goals each week in the last 3 weeks had he done that. Tristan Sherry, I feel like was the best ruck. People go, oh, what about Gawn and what about Meek? Meek destroyed Matt Flynn. Then it was even in the second half, more in favour of Flynn. Gawn was fine, but Nankervis was relatively even. Tristan Sherry absolutely destroyed Jordan Sweet badly. Had like 20 more disposals. They had the same amount of hit-outs, but the impact Tristan Sherry had was far superior than Jordan Sweet. Andy Brayshaw at 37. George Hewitt had 28 in the goal, kicked the match-winning goal late. He was good anyway, and that goal got him in. Lockie Ash was good again, 30-odd disposals. Ned Long. Now, I know his numbers aren't as good or as big as some other weeks, but 3 goal assists, 9 score involvements, a goal in 22. He's in the form of his career, and he absolutely deserves this recognition. Paul Curtis kicked 3 in 16. He was very good for the Roos. Caleb Sarong at 32. I know he had 6 kicks, but that doesn't matter. He was still impactful in a lot of contested possessions and clearances. I think he had 10. And Bailey Humphrey kicked 4 with 18. Nick Dacos was terrific in the first quarter and the last, but did nothing in the middle. That's why he didn't make it. I was a bit light on for midfielders this week, which is why he made the emergency list. Higo kicked 3 and 12. He was good, but Curtis was just ahead. Lockie Whitfield, house on fire early, got injured for a little bit. He was still good, but again, Dacos and Malira and Bowie were ahead of him, and Lloyd Meek was very close to passing Tristan Cherry had Matt Flynn not actually beat him in the second half. So that's my team of the week. Comment down below what you think, who you would have in, who you wouldn't have in, and all that. So if you're going to critique it, how about you actually say who comes in for who, not just, oh, he shouldn't be there, or this player should be there, and everything like that. So it is what it is. All right, so now, ladies and gentlemen, let's now... Oh, yes, Xavier Lindsay won the Rising Star for round 7. And breaking news as about half an hour ago, Jamara Ugle-Hagan will have a leave of absence from the AFL. Apparently his family, management, and club and the AFL have all agreed to it. I wouldn't expect you to see him playing AFL again for the Western Bulldogs. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Welcome back. The world famous segment Scoop goes bang. Oh boy. Paul Curtis has got 3 weeks still. His 3-match ban has stayed. Oh bullshit. I told you I would rant about this and every other one if they were unsuccessful. Take this to bloody wherever Carlton took the Paddy Cripps thing. Take them to bloody court or whatever the hell you want to call it. What the flip? Are you kidding me? I said what I said, but this just shows how corrupt the AFL is, how bullshit they are. If that was Patrick Dangerfield, he would never have got 3 weeks. We would have brushed it aside, go, oh, come on, Paddy, just be a bit better next time. Now, for context, like I said, they deserve nothing. But if that was Patrick Dangerfield, put that in the Geelong player's shoes. If that was Patrick Dangerfield, he wouldn't have even been sent to the tribunal. In fact, he wouldn't have even been suspended, and it wouldn't have been graded or cited or even mentioned at the bottom that it's been thrown out. It just wouldn't have been mentioned, period. It would have been like, sorry, Josh Sin, you got concussed, but it's Dangerfield, so nothing's happening. That's stuff. The AFL is a joke. The game is dead. It's a disgrace. We give up on this game. Seriously, it is corrupt. Absolutely stuffed. To the people on that tribunal that just handed that ban to Paul Curtis and kept it at 3, you are in a complete and utter disgrace. You all deserve to be sacked, effective immediately. You are just as bad as the AFL because you had the option to right the wrong, and you just embarrassed yourself by agreeing with the AFL. You are a complete and utter disgrace. My God, that's embarrassing. I feel for you, Paul Curtis. The game is dead. You might as well just say you don't want to play anymore. A club should boycott a round and then make the AFL say, okay, we've got to change this. Because they don't give a shit about the players as much as they say they do. They never give a shit about the fans. They clearly don't give a shit. As long as they're being paid, they don't give a shit. They're getting paid X amount of millions of dollars, so they could not give a shit how we feel and how the players are feeling in this example, because Paul Curtis has copped a suspension that he doesn't deserve. What he should have got was a free kick for holding the ball. Bullshit. Now, let's review round 7 and preview round 8, because we'll be here for another 8 hours if I keep talking about the AFL and their match fixing and their corrupt decisions they make. Now, let's review round 7, shall we? Melbourne 83, Richmond 63. Melbourne by 20 points. Again, Richmond's shown what competitiveness they're showing. For the players they're having to play with, the group they've got, they're playing solid. They're going all right. Melbourne aren't that good. Melbourne struggled to beat Richmond. I know Melbourne got the win, so that's all that matters. Petrarca was terrific. Gawn was good. Stephen May played his part on Tom Lynch. But actually, no, in saying that, he won some good battles, Stephen May, but Tom Lynch kicked 3-3 and should have kicked more. He was good. As was Thompson Dowell. But there's a lot of even contributors in this game. Bowie and Salem were terrific, though, as well for Melbourne. Oliver, he had a good third quarter, I think it was, but that's about it. Anzac Day, Collingwood 107, Essendon 66, Collingwood by 41 points. Essendon started shit, and to their credit, they came back, and in the second half, the Pies took them to the cleaners and said, not on my watch. Zach Reid had his moments. Zach Merritt wasn't in his best form. For Collingwood, Ned Long, Sidebottom, Pendlebury, the Dacos brothers, Elliott, terrific. Jeremy Howe. Jeremy Howe was the other player I did not put on the list. Now, shit. Hang on. Let me get that graphic back up. Okay, I am making a late inclusion. Late change to the team of the week. Okay, now you're not going to see it on the screen in that graphic, but what I am going to do, late out, Jeremy Howe in for, it pains me to do this, but laid out, Jeremy Howe is in for Nasiah Wanganeen Malira. So scratch that. Jeremy Howe is a late inclusion for the Nasiah Wanganeen Malira in Team of the Week. So there you go. But yeah, here we are. I can't believe I forgot Jeremy Howe. Apologies, Jeremy. He was so good. So good, Jeremy Howe. Can't believe I forgot him. I feel bad, but you'll forgive me. He was freaking awesome. Freo 85, Adelaide 67, Freo by 18 points. They got the win, Freo. That's all that matters. They've won a few on the trot. They can't believe they lost to bloody Melbourne, and they just beat Richmond. So off a second half. Adelaide, they're not that good. I've been telling you all they're not that good. People were carrying on after they beat us easily in round one, but we had 8 to 10 players out. They were playing at home. They had everyone available but Brodie Smith, who they're not even playing anymore. So, and Kieran Shawn, who's out for long term, unfortunately, and on the inactive list. But it is what it is. Freo got the job done, so that's all they'll care about. Saints 73, Brisbane 118, Brisbane by 45 points. I will tell you when St Kilda played shit, and they did. Turnover city for both sides in the first half. We started the third quarter really well. Then Brisbane got on top after the bullshit umpiring calls. In the last quarter, they got some goals. We got some goals, but they got a bit more. But the good thing for us, unlike the Bulldogs game, they didn't let it blow out to 70 points because that potentially could have happened. So I'm happy that we did not allow them to do what the Bulldogs did and piled on so many late goals to make the margin even worse. I'd rather go in trying and being competitive and trying to win, unlike North Melbourne, who they did this week. Now, speaking of North, Port Adelaide and North Melbourne, Port Adelaide 97, North Melbourne 88. Wow. Oh, how lucky are you, Port? Up by 5 goals at quarter time, basically, then shit the bed almost. And if Zurha and Larky in particular could have executed their basic goals, and if, some other plays that went into the 50 for North actually executed well, they might have beat you. So you're very, very lucky. The Giants, 81. The Western Bulldogs, 113. Bulldogs, after the first half, they took them to the cleaners, and they were terrific. I'll give them credit where credit's due. James Harms, Matt Kennedy, terrific. Jed Busslinger on debut. The Jed Busslinger effect is real. He was terrific. Had like 14 disposals on debut. The Jed Busslinger, the bus. Should have been playing since he was drafted. But yeah, Gold Coast 117 beat the Swans easily in the end, 79. Suns by 38. They were down by 4 goals at halftime. Now, take note, Port Adelaide. That's how you come back. You thump them. You don't almost choke a lead to the worst club in the comp. Sydney need to take note from North Melbourne. Warner was good. Heaney started well. There wasn't many major contributors. I know Blakey got 3 goals late, but they were cheap goals. One was from a 50-metre penalty. For the Suns, Noble was pretty good. I know he wasn't in my team of the week, but he was good. Humphrey was good. Witsy done all right. Ben King kicked 5. So a great second half, but a first half to forget for the Suns and a second half to forget for the Swans. I know the Swans have only won 2 games this year, but they're not as bad as people are making it out to be. Carlton 94, Geelong 76, Carlton by 18 points. Now, I cannot believe why people are saying that Geelong lost due to umpiring. That is ridiculous and also hypocritical because Geelong are the most protected club in the competition. They lost because Carlton were good. Did you see how Harry Mackay played and George Hewitt played? And Sam Walsh and Tom de Koning played. Tom de Koning destroyed Reece Stanley. Walsh, Hewitt, Harry Mackay were terrific. So I don't know why people are complaining about the umpiring in that game. Was it good? Maybe not. But there was a goal that Geelong got. I think it might have been Dangerfield's goal or someone's goal that shouldn't have been there. So I don't know why Geelong fans are crying when you are the most protected club in the competition. Chris Scott can say what he likes and gets away with it. It's just laughable. So don't start blaming the umpires. Very hypocritical Geelong fans that are blaming the umpires. You lost because Carlton were better. Simple as that. You lost to us because we were better. Simple as that. And when you don't win the grand final, you will say, oh, it's because of the umpires. Get stuffed. And the last game to go through from round 7 was Hawthorn and West Coast. Not much to say. Hawthorn 124, West Coast 74, 50-point victory to the Hawks. Not surprising, to be honest. It was obvious. They did what they had to do, and they earned a big win. West Coast had a chance. I think it was in the third quarter when it was like 4 goals to get it to a couple of goals, but they just didn't execute. And Hawthorn were just a touch better in that moment, and then it went from there. Their fade out, though, from the Eagles wasn't good. Harley Reid kicked a nice goal, but he's got to start looking to pass off to teammates, stop being a hungus like Horne Francis. They're both like each other, both number 1 picks, both sooks, and both hunguses. They want to do it all for themselves. They're going to worry about their teammates a bit more, I think, and handball the ball off and stop just kicking everything for themselves. But yeah, you know, I thought Jack Hutchison, albeit I did say shouldn't be in the midfield, done okay. Brady Hoff was all right. Ryan Marrick was solid in the first 2.5 quarters in particular, then faded away a little bit. McGovern played as well. Gee, if they miss McGovern, how bad would they be? Josh Battle was immense down in the back line. 29 disposals, like 14 marks was awesome. I think got well over 100 in Supercoach. Well, he should have. Lloyd Meek was absolutely dominating Matt Flynn in the first half. It was embarrassing Matt Flynn's efforts in the first half and was solid for Flynn in the second half, and Meek was okay. Flynn probably won the battle in the second half, but his first half Meek was so insane that Matt Flynn may never play AFL again had he not played better in the second half, because that could have been the most embarrassing game from a ruck all year. That was actually trying to win the hitouts and everything like that. That was pretty bad, but lucky for Matt Flynn, his second half was just better than Meek's. Just. Now, let's go preview the round 8 games and talk about my Supercoach score. Actually, we'll do the Supercoach 4 score first. I scored 2,362. I bloody dropped 2 in the ranking. So I'm very pissed off with that because the highest score of the round got 2,724. 2,724. So I'm pretty pissed off with that. Murphy Reed, Levi Ashcroft, Zach Reed, Connor O'Sullivan and Luke Trent, if you still have them for some reason. They're the guys you should look at getting rid of. Some of their break games are in the 50s range, but you've got to think about them and be smart. They'll probably score around that anyway. So, you know, it's very interesting. Now, congratulations to Shano, who is first on my Scoops Fan Club League. If you want to join that code, where is it? 300-210. So simple as that. Now, I'm happy with my score. I'm looking at potentially doing some bold moves. There's 2 players in particular I'm thinking of that no one's really selecting that could really help my team or really screw it up. So do I get one? Do I get none? I'm really thinking of those players, and I'm not going to tell any of you. Even if I know you, I'm not going to tell you who I'm thinking of getting in my Supercoach team, because this could catapult me from the top 10 to 8% to top 6 in a 3-week block, 2-week block if this pulls off. hoping certain players don't come back from these clubs to potentially screw their time in certain positions on the field. But we'll see. Do I downgrade Murphy Reid in that? That's something also I'm looking at doing and probably will do. Sam Davison, maybe in the same boat as well. But you don't have to force to rush them because there's not many good rookies to pick this week. There's maybe only one good rookie in all positions that you could get. And no, it's not Oscar McDonald. Right, let's quickly preview the round out games very quickly. Right, the first one to go through, just going to speed through these. Thursday night at Marvel Stadium. People are talking about this, but every team's got to play a game in a marquee slot at some point, I guess. So should the Giants and the Gold Coast, just because they're interstate teams doesn't mean they don't deserve it. Essendon, North, Marvel, 7:30. I'm tipping Essendon by 12 points. Friday night at Marvel, Saints, Freo. All aboard the Filippo train. He is back. Saints by 10 points. Friday night at Marvel. Saturday, 120 at Ballarat. Bulldogs, Port, 120. I'm going the Bulldogs by 15 points. Crows, Blues, 4:15 Saturday at Adelaide Oval. Tipping the Crows by 20 points. Saturday night at Optus Stadium, 7:35 Vic time, West Coast Melbourne. I'm tipping Melbourne by 15. 7:35 Saturday night at the G, Collingwood Geelong. I'll be tipping Collingwood by 20 points. Sunday, 1:10 at the SCG, Vic time, Sydney Swans and Giants. Tipping the Swans at the SCG the Giants by 15 points. 3:20 at the MCG, Sunday, Hawks, Richmond, Hawthorn by 40 points. Maybe even 25 actually. And the Hugh Clash, Brisbane, Gold Coast at the Gabba, 7:20 Vic time. Sunday night, I'll be tipping Brisbane by 5 points. Thank you all for watching this episode of Kick It to Scoops. If you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees or any state league players, like to see them on the podcast in the Golden Challenge, please send me a message and we'll get something. So thank you.